So, welcome to the Institutional Research Town Hall webinar. This presentation will be recorded and will be available at ctstate.edu/webinars for you to check out later in case you have a friend who missed it. And please put any questions you have in the chat and they will be addressed at the end of the presentation. We also have a live audience because this is a special webinar where we're trying out different modalities. And so there will be questions coming in from the audience as well. So I'd like to introduce JD Mathewson, the Associate Vice President of Institutional Effectiveness and Planning, and I'll turn it over to him.
Thank you very much, Alexa. I can never get it right the first time either. So I want to thank you all for joining the CT State Institutional Research webinar. We're coming to you live from CT State Asmontuck campus in Enfield, Connecticut. And I want to thank CEO Coach for having us here. I, for one, love to be on campus as much as I can be and build on existing relationships and forge new ones. So this is a great opportunity, and I really appreciate that. And I think I speak for all of us as well. We're here today to reintroduce institutional research to the full CT State community post-merger as one unified institutional research department, and show you what we can offer and make you aware of what we can do and what's already available for the whole community. And at the end, we'll take the opportunity to answer any questions you have as best as we can. So as Alexa noted, I am JD Mathewson, Associate Vice President, Institutional Effectiveness and Planning.
I'm Caitlin Boger-Hawkins. I'm the Senior Director of IR here at the Asmontuck campus, as well as at Northwestern in Winstead.
And I am Sohair Omar. I am Campus Director of Institutional Research at CT State Naugatuck Valley.
Thank you. And so let's just let's go over our agenda for today. Caitlin?
So we have a couple of things we want to talk about today. We're going to start with what is IR. And many of you know what IR is, but there are a lot of new people on our campus, on all of our campuses throughout the system. So we thought starting with a very quick overview of what institutional research is and can do would be a great place to start. We'll then talk about what IR specifically can do for you at CT State, and JD is going to take you on a guided tour of our new IR portal online, which has some great resources. We're going to talk a little bit about the Voluntary Framework of Accountability, which is a new, well, it's not a new initiative, it's a new to us initiative that we'll be getting involved with this year going forward. We'll talk about, Sohair will talk with you about data governance, and then we'll talk a little bit about some outreach plans we have going forward. At the end, we'll have a bit of time for question and answers to chat with you about things that might have come up. So institutional research, according to our professional organization, the Association for Institutional Research, defines IR in terms of sort of 5 buckets. The first is identifying information needs. This really has to do with communicating with stakeholders, and you're going to hear these words, communicating and relationships, as kind of themes throughout today. I think these are the important things that we want you to remember. Communicating with stakeholders about decision support needs. Anticipating questions, again, by really developing relationships with people locally as far as what's going on, what's happening on campus, what you need to know, and assisting stakeholders in developing and refining research questions. We also spend a lot of time collecting, analyzing, interpreting, and reporting data, and this is just what it sounds like. It's the sort of the technical pieces associated with all of that, but it also really requires an understanding of the data that underpins some of that stuff, so that we can really help you answer your questions about student access and success, institutional operations, all that good stuff that has to do with institutional effectiveness. As well, it requires an understanding of the research methodology that's needed for data analysis and reporting. We work with planning and evaluation, which is, again, what it sounds like, collaborating with other units on our campuses to carry out operational, budgetary, and strategic planning. Supporting program review, particularly as it relates to NETCHI accreditation as well as program-specific accreditation, which many of our programs have, and supporting student learning outcomes assessment. We serve as stewards of data and information, which has to do with supporting institutional-wide data strategy, compliance, and with things like privacy and security, data quality assurance, and appropriate data accessibility. And finally, we educate and inform producers, users, and consumers of data. So training and coaching on things like data literacy, data analysis, and a collaborative role in discussing information needs and connecting internal and external producers and users for the purposes of decision making. So that's the big picture. That's IR sort of as we define it nationally and professionally. IR at CT State is similar, but you'll see some differences and some nuances there. We support institutional institutional decision making through a cycle of regular institutional and campus and institutional studies, reports, dashboards, things like that. We provide data on student success metrics and that highlight equity and achievement gaps, and this is a really important one. We really try to make all of our, whenever possible, we try to disaggregate our data by race, ethnicity, and other metrics so that we can really highlight equity gaps. That's super important to us, as we know, as all of us know, with our institutional mission. We develop benchmarks and metrics in support of strategic planning, which is what it sounds like. We support regional and program accreditation, and that's data support, report writing support across the board. JD has been involved with that. Many of us have been involved with that at the campus level previously, so that's a big piece of it. Supporting program review and learning outcomes assessment, again, that's what it sounds like, and you'll hear more about that in days and weeks and months to come, I think, as we build that system out. Provide required data to state and federal agencies. So many of you have heard the term iPads. That's one big reporting piece that we do. There are others. And we increase data literacy within the Connecticut State community. And this, we'll talk a little bit more about this going forward, but that's a piece of it as well, that we plan to conduct trainings, workshops, and webinars. And finally, serving as really as a best practice for institutional research. Survey methodology, survey design and methodology, research methodologies, and data governance, which Sohair will be talking with you about a little bit more later.
Thank you, Caitlin. And in order to democratize access to all that data that we were talking about and better support decision making and better inform our community, we're launching the CT State Data Portal. And if you don't get the URL down at some point, don't worry, we will email it out, and we'll make sure you can get it. But today, as of today, this CT State Data Portal at ctregents.sharepoint.com/sites.ctstatedata, not the easiest one to remember, that's why we'll be sharing it out, is available to all CSCU members. Anybody with a CSCU account should be able to access this as of now. It's intended to be a one-stop shop for CT State data and submission requests and static reports, dashboards, external information, and campus contacts and institutional effectiveness and planning. We have a number of reports and dashboards. You can see here, and I will take you through some of it. We have a little carousel here with some recent reports. One is one that's actually been posted as of today. Links to dashboards and some of those external data products that I have mentioned so far. So I'll talk about some of the content that is already available. We have the CT State Retention and Transfer Out report, which our own Sohair Omar is the one who recently is the author of this, disaggregating retention transfer out statistics across the entirety of CT State's credit population. We also have a course success rate report, which Sohair was also very instrumental in. And this is actually just an executive summary of a report that is available, broken down many different ways, but just an overview of in fall 23, what the essentially the pass rates, success rates, fail rates were in across the most popular courses at CT State. Product of marketing communication that I consulted on, a CT State Fast Facts form, which was recently handed out at several of the legislative breakfasts and business roundtables, and it's available to everybody who has access to this website. The most recent census report, which breaks down enrollment, headcount, and full-time equivalents for all sorts of different demographics. My cursor has disappeared here, so give me 1 second and I can always some issue, isn't there?
Please hold for technical difficulties.
the enhanced census report for fall, which some of you have probably seen already, and it's also a very digestible enrollment report, and the spring version should be available rather soon.
And that's a 2-page for CT State as well as 2-page for each campus.
Yeah, every campus has its own set of pages. And also this new dashboard, which I'm debuting today, it's still in beta, but we're calling it the Program Data Report. And it provides headcount and FTE information by CT State program. It's a very simple interface. You literally just pick the campus and pick the program. Early childhood education up here is first because it is one of the highest enrolled programs that is on every single campus. And so there's data on retention, enrollment, completions, and job outcomes for those fields that are associated with that program. One issue with it, I'll just say off the bat, is it's about a year behind due to some hiccups in updating databases between the old and the new banner, and hopefully those will be ironed out shortly, but it is there and will be improved upon. And also a new way to request data. Now, we do have this data request form. That is, we are not saying that you need to use this form now if you want to request something from institutional effectiveness. We value relationships. If you are used to just knocking on Caitlin's door and saying, hey, can I get this? That's great. Keep interacting with us however you feel comfortable. But if you don't know us and you want to be able to better organize your thoughts when you make a request, this form might be more helpful to you. And so this will always be on the data portal for anybody who wants to use that form of communication. Other than, any form of communication that works for you is fine. Email, Teams, phone call, that's all great. Drive up to my office if you want, or tell me to drive to yours, whichever works for you. There's also a link to the institutional review board. Sohair is a co-chair of the IRB. The IRB is a necessary process to go through if you're doing any surveys of the university community that are intended to be used for external purposes, and in other cases it might still be necessary. If you have any doubts, the first thing to do is at least contact the IRB to make sure that the research you're conducting does or does not need to be reviewed in that way first. And if you don't need to go to the institutional review board, just a reminder that if you are doing a survey of college students at one campus, the CEO is the ultimate arbiter for whether that survey is authorized. And if you're surveying multiple campuses, CT State's administration is the ultimate arbiter on that. So just because it's not IRB capture, it doesn't mean that there are no rules and regulations. It's worth knowing that ahead of time before somebody yells at you or me. Some external data dashboards like the CSCU completions dashboard are also linked on the data portal. The Census Post-Secondary Employment Outcomes Explorer. This is based on data we send to the Department of Commerce, which runs the census, to link employment outcomes to our graduation outcomes. And finally, a contact list of everybody who is in institutional research at CT State. If you need to contact somebody, well, you've got a lot of people you can talk to. They're all very friendly. And so how to get to the portal, again, the website is right there. If we share the PowerPoint after, that link should actually be clickable. So we'll make sure you figure out how to get to that website. And there will be more products, hopefully soon more dashboards, stuff that can make it easier for you to get the data that we would normally give you. But that doesn't mean we're cutting the relationship out of the equation. It's just another way to get what you need easier, and we'll always be there to walk you through whatever you need. This should be available to all immediately, but if you're not, once you visit the page, it will probably ask you if you want access, and if I see the email coming through and I see it's a CT State or even any CSCU address, I will, of course, approve that request. we're all about providing the best and most informative database narrative. That is our goal. One of the problems we run into frequently, however, is that the systems for measuring college performance are often designed for and by four-year institutions. When you hear on the radio, of course, like the day one numbers for UConn or any other school, what they're looking at is usually the fall enrollment for credit-bearing students. But of course, at CT State, a lot of our students are not only enrolling in the fall. We have a lot of spring transference, and we have a lot of spring readmits. And in fact, graduation rates, when we talk about low graduation rates at CSU, CT State, the fact is that only represents about 8% of our population. First-time fall degree seekers are, and full-time that's all they're looking at, and that's 8% of our population at CT State. And that's why a lot of the existing metrics are simply not acceptable ways of measuring our progress as an institution. And that's a segue into what Caitlin will be talking about next.
Very nice segue.
Thank you.
Well done. So what JD has been building up to there with the last few minutes of narrative.
Banter.
Of banter, is the voluntary framework of accountability. The VFA, and you may hear bits and pieces about this going forward because we are participating this year for the first time. So we're going to tell you a little bit about what it is, why we need it, and what's included. So first of all, what is it? It's the first ever national accountability system to measure how two-year colleges perform in serving their students. It was developed by community college leaders. I think more than 50 or 60 were involved in a multi-year process to develop measures that really sort of encompass the full breadth of the community college mission and the diversity of student goals and educational experiences. It gauges student progress and outcomes, including pre-collegiate measures, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, all the way through to workforce placement, job data, stuff like that. Why is it so important? JD just touched on some of the reasons. Really, traditional measures don't capture the majority of our students. They capture a tiny percentage of our students, so that's a problem. Part-time students are excluded. Students who don't start in the fall are excluded. Non-credit students are excluded. And many of the measures that we traditionally go on don't include much about what happens after they leave the college. It's do they get here, do they graduate? Things like transfer might get touched on, but workforce placement, job data, which is so important, is often not included in that picture. It just stops at that point. So the VFA is broader than that, and it gives us benchmark data that we can use to compare ourselves against other institutions nationally. So we are going to be submitting data this spring and summer, am I correct?
Yeah, the data are due August, and in August. I don't exactly know when we get back benchmarking on that, but yeah.
So it will not be an immediate data set that we get back, but it will be coming, and it should be helpful for us going forward. You can see on the other column on the screen what the metrics include. So you can see that it includes things like developmental ed, pre-collegiate, students who progress through developmental education into college level work. I think it's 1-, 2-, and 6-year outcomes measures. So things like reaching credit thresholds, retention, earning a credential, transferring to another institution, or remaining enrolled. And then ultimately at the farther reaches, the 6-year outcomes, things like earning a certificate, a degree, or leaving the institution with either less than or more than 30 credits. It also includes measures on career and technical ed, percentage of students that achieve credentials, that pass a licensure exam, for example, employment information, realizing a wage gain, which is a critical measure that we don't often capture, and adult basic ed measures, students that complete that to reach that threshold and progress into either into employment or into college education. So it's a broader set of measures, sort of encompassing a wider range of experiences that students have, and it's disaggregated again by those, so that will give us some sense of equity gap, and it has benchmarking capabilities because it's a national initiative. So we are excited about it, and you'll hear more about that going forward.
Yeah, and of course, if you can't trust the data, it doesn't matter what they say, right? And that's why we need to actually make an effort to make sure that what the data say and what the data mean are actually reflecting the reality on the ground. And that's where something called data governance comes in. And that's what Sohair is going to be talking to us about today. So let me throw it to you, Sohair.
Thank you, JD. The topic that you've all been waiting for, data governance. So what is it? Data governance is the exercise of decision-making and authority for data-related matters. It is a set of practices needed to respond to change. It is concerned broadly with the use and value of data. Now, what is data governance not? It is not information security enforcement. CSCU has a separate office for that. It is not related to shared governance or curriculum governance, which is a beast of its own. Next slide, please. So why is data governance important? Let's start on the right. If we don't have data governance, it will result in poor communication, us talking past each other, us doing work again and again and again. It will result in stagnation and frustration and distrust of the data. However, if we do have data governance, we will have effective communication, a shared language and understanding, well-defined workflows and processes, simple resolutions to questions, and most importantly, confidence in our data. Next slide, please. So what is our vision for data governance? Number 1, discoverability. Number 2, addressability. Number 3, trustworthiness. Number 4, self-description. Number 5, interoperability. Number 6, agility. And number 7, security. Next slide, please. To achieve this vision, 3 years ago, the CSCU Chancellor, Terrence Chang, charged the Joint Council for CT State Data Governance with advancing institutional effectiveness through the safeguarding, standardization, and democratization of data. He further stated that data governance ensures that CT State leaders can make equity-minded, evidence-driven decisions to advance the mission of the institution and meet our responsibilities to the accrediting body, aka NECHI, and other stakeholders. Next slide, please. So the membership of the Joint Council for Data Governance comprises representatives from IT Business Intelligence, IT Security, HR and Payroll, System Academic Affairs, and System IR. It also includes representatives from CT State Institutional Effectiveness, meaning us, Enrollment Management, Enterprise Resource and Planning, aka the Banner Team, Student Financial Aid, and the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Next slide, please. The responsibilities of the Joint Council for Data Governance are as follows. Number 1, to develop data standards and definitions. Number 2, to develop procedures for adhering to data standards and definitions. Number 3, to serve as a forum to mediate discussions and disagreements about data. Number 4, to consult on and approve procedures to distribute data. Number 5, to initiate projects to audit data for clarity, accuracy, and external validity. Number 6, consult on and approve policies to ensure the security of sensitive data. Number 7, assist in data security and privacy efforts. And lastly, number 7, promote awareness of and the value of data governance, hence this presentation. Next slide, please. So I'm going to introduce you to a couple of new terms. The first one is a data product. So what is it? A data product is a reusable data asset built to deliver a set of trusted data for a specific purpose. Examples include data sets, data abstracts, such as banner abstracts, spreadsheets and reports in Excel and PDF, visualizations and dashboards in Tableau and Power BI, and application integrations such as Argos, which JD will talk about shortly. Next slide, please. Next is a data domain. What is it? A data domain is a collected scope of data and data products that tells the complete story about a well-defined business function. Decisions and actions are delegated to domain workgroups. Domain workgroups are accountable to stakeholders. CT state data domains or areas include academic operations, admissions, enrollment, financial aid, finance general, finance payroll, and HR. Next slide, please. Each data domain has an executive data owner, a product owner, and a technical lead, and a stakeholder. Next slide, please.
And I'll just interject, there are usually multiple stakeholders, many stakeholders. Pretty much everybody is a stakeholder of some data at the institution.
Thank you, JD. So what are the takeaways? I just presented many new terms and concepts for us to start thinking about data governance. But what do we want you to remember? We want you to remember data governance is a system for making decisions about data that supports the needs of interested stakeholders. To make good decisions, we must share a common business language about the data that includes definitions of roles, the objects under governance, and their attributes. Lastly, product owners have latitude to set priorities, assign meaning, and assert decisions necessary to be accountable to stakeholders' needs, which, as JD alluded to, includes many people, including you. So when it comes to data governance, we have a vision, we have goals, a lot of work has been done, and a lot of work is currently underway. Now I will turn it back to JD for further details.
Thank you, Sohair. That was great. I'm glad that was your great voiceover work doing that, because if it was me, everybody would be sleeping right now. The form that most of this work has taken, you're probably thinking, what is this work? I haven't heard anything about this, but you probably have noticed, if you used Banner in the past, that a bunch of your reports are not there anymore, and you're wondering what's going to replace them. And what is going to replace them are reports in a new application called Argos. And so the majority of this year, all those domains that we talked about have been working to take old Banner reports and turn them into new Argos reports. It has been very tough going, but some are already available. The financial aid reports have been fully moved to Argos. I believe enrollment management is very close if they're not there already. I am the chair for now of the academic operations, which includes like graduation reports and such, academic history reports. We're very close. And by the way, if you ever need anything that's not available yet, just contact my office. We'll find a way to get you that information if you can't get it yourself. But we're very close, and that has been the bulk of our work. And the way if you have questions about any sort of reports that you're used to having, wondering what's available to you, wondering when it will be available to you, you can contact the data domain leaders. Academic operations right now, it's myself. Admissions is being run by Sarah White. Enrollment, Noel Rosamillo. Financial aid, Steve McDowell. Finance, Gennaro DeAngelis. A lot of us Nantuck alumni in this list. And human resources, Michael Lopez. So if you have questions about where you can get the data you need, and if you would like to be more involved when we expand the testing process, which is the next step for a lot of these domains, you can contact the domain leader, but there's a very good chance that the domain leader will be reaching out to you pretty soon to offer you training in how to use the Argos application, which IT at Shared Services will be providing shortly. And I think that is it for data governance, unless you wanted to add anything, Sohair?
I'm all set. Thank you for asking.
Oh, I went way too far there. All right, thank you very much. And in terms of training, training in Argos is not the only type of outreach, and really I don't want to take credit for IT is going to be leading that, but it's not the only sort of data literacy outreach we're going to be doing here at CT State.
Right, thanks, JD. Yeah, so more data literacy courses, trainings, opportunities, and what that means really, I think, is how we approach data, how we manage it, how we use it, and how we kind of reflect upon it. So it's really, it's a broad topic and all-encompassing, but a very important one. So we, at this time, don't have specific dates or specific venues set up, but that will be coming soon, and we would love feedback from those on this call today in the room about where and when and how to do that best to best meet your needs. So that's coming. More dashboards are coming. JD showed you a bunch of them today, but there are more coming. And again, another opportunity for feedback from all of you if there are things that you would like to see, things that you used to see perhaps on your local IR campus web pages that you're missing, that you want to see for CT State, let us know. We're always open to that. Campus visits. JD has done the road show. I think he's been to every campus at least once, some more than once, and he loves field trips. So invite him to your campus. Invite us to come as a team. All of us. You know, you all have local people on your campuses, but we are happy to come as a bigger group or in pairs or trios of folks to talk to you about campus-specific issues. So always happy to do that. Reach out to your local person and or to JD. But the bottom line is we can't do our job effectively if we don't know what you need. And again, that's why developing relationships is so important. So we are here for you. We want to get to know you if we don't already know you, and we want to talk about what your data needs are. So reach out at any time. JD posted the names and contact information, but you can always just go to the webpage and pull that up if you need it.
Yep, and if you don't know what you need, but you know you need something, talk to us and we'll figure it out together. All right. Thank you very much. Do we have any questions in the queue, Alexa?
You have one over here, so let me give it to you really quick. Just pull it over. Okay. They asked if the pandemic data had been completely filtered out, or is some of it still skewing our data?
Yeah, and the pandemic is going to continue to have ripples to our data, especially, I mean, we're in the year that the students who started in the pandemic year would be expected to graduate in 150% time, so I'm interested to see what effect that's going to have on completions. My guess is that they will be down in total, but up in terms of rates. That's just my guess, however. And yeah, I mean, it's hard to just filter out 2020. And 2021. I mean, if we wanted to, even if we did that, we would be ignoring some major changes in policy, like the introduction of PACT, which had a big effect on retention for our students, and so you know it's always going to be there rippling out through our numbers, and we just have to be aware of it. That students who took classes in that spring or who started in that fall are going to be different than a lot of the other students going forward, and that means the outcomes are going to be different, and we need to maintain expectations in that area. And of course, the impact of the decline in enrollment, which was really bigger than even national trends would have expected for that term. That you know we expect some rebound from that, and we have seen some rebound from that in terms of total credit hours. But there's very little we can do to just pretend it didn't happen. We're just going to have to see that it's there and account for it as we go forward.
And the students, of course, who were in high school, later in high school during that time period are now with us. So in a way, you can't entirely filter it out because it's sort of going to be an effect for a bit to come now.
Right. And important to remember, the pandemic wasn't officially over until I think late last year when the WHO declared it over, or CDC, and we're all still dealing with the effects of COVID in many ways. So, you know, history isn't even past. It's here with us. Do we have any questions from our live audience today?
Thank you. I'm impressed with the dashboard and the access to information that looks really nice and convenient. I wondered how it's coordinated between our different needs. For example, there's the day-to-day operations. People need to access their information to do their jobs, enrollment management, those sort of issues. But we'll also have a NCATE report coming down the line. We're going to need data for that. We've got the new program reviews that are just underway. There's specific questions in that has to be answered. Is there a coordination between your offices, your people, and all the different reports and things that are coming up down the road?
Yeah, a lot of what I've spent the last couple of years doing is getting a handle on all those things and talking to my team members at the campuses who inform me of what is needed at the campus, and then I talk to administration at New Britain to see what is needed from them, and of course sometimes I hear from the system office to see what is needed from them. So really, the coordination is just by me and the other senior directors like Caitlin talking to each other, being in meetings, being clear about what's needed. If it's a repetitive, if it's a repeating task, we have a calendar. We make sure we're ahead of it. If it's something new, we try to get out ahead of it. If it's accreditation related, I'm the accreditation liaison officer, and I believe half of the team have been ALOs in the past. I'm grateful to have a team that's always been on top of those things, and if we're not, pick up the phone and let us know, and we'll get on top of it. Anything else, Alexa?
So I don't have any other questions in the chat. So this always means you guys did a really good job. Questions. So
and how about here live? Anything else here? Yes. Wait for Ben to bring over the mic.
Will you be able to create on-demand heat maps?
What was that last word?
On-demand heat maps?
Heat maps, sure. What do you need?
Don't know, but a lot of times it comes up suddenly.
Sure.
Like, oh, gee, wouldn't it be great if we knew how many students were on campus on this day at this hour?
Yeah, and there actually used to be a product that I did not even know was circulating. It was a heat map that I made for that purpose. It was actually just for libraries, and then it got out. Which was a lesson to me. half the population was like, "Hey, this is great. Why doesn't it have this?" And the other half of the population is like, "What the heck is this? And why are you doing it?" And but yes, we can absolutely do that again. And if heat map is of course just one way of displaying information, but if you do want me to resume the scheduled heat map distribution, that's something we got actually probably move into a dashboard on the hub, on the data portal now, instead of just sending a new Excel spreadsheet out every week or so. But sure, that'd be a great product.
And Maura, I'm glad you asked that question because it actually reminded me of something that I wanted to make sure we emphasize today, which is that's a kind of a question and a need that answers a very specific question at a specific point in time, perhaps recurring, perhaps not. One of the tools that we have available that's updated weekly actually on the dashboard is a non-registered and a non-returning, and I don't think we highlighted that.
It's not on the hub yet. We're still working out the privacy implications for sharing it.
Gotcha. Okay.
It'll probably be something if you have access and you click on it, you'll get it. If you don't, it might ask you to confirm, and you may or may not be getting it because it does have absolute student level information, and we're trying to keep. Right. Since this is open to everybody in the CSU community, we do need to lock a couple of things down. But yeah, it is available, and if it's something that you want, we can make sure you have it if you have access to if you're supposed to have access to that kind of info. So just so that everyone knows what it is, and that every campus is aware of it, which they probably are, but you never know. It's a report that's updated weekly. A dashboard that's updated weekly, and you can download lists of students. It's really for advisors. So CALs have access to it and are able to download lists of current semester students who are not yet registered for the following semester. So right now, they're able to look at everybody who's here this semester, excluding people who are going to graduate, who isn't yet registered for the fall, so that they can start outreach. It also has a similar list for students who've been admitted for the fall and haven't yet registered. So it's a tool that admissions and enrollment people can use really on a weekly basis to help with outreach. So it's a similar kind of a thing to answer a very specific need, in addition to some of those dashboards that are sort of bigger picture, context setting, right. Research questions. But it's a mix of things that are out there.
Oh.
I have two questions. The first one is a little bit off of that one.
Sure.
So everybody has access to these particular dashboards, right? So if I'm looking for information in regards to the demographics of not just students, but we're looking at the collectiveness of all of our campus and that demographics, is that something I'm going to be able to find, or I would have to request that information separately?
You probably need to request that separately, and HR data is something we don't always handle very well, but we'll do our best if we're talking about staff and faculty data. Is that what you're referring to? Or?
Yes, just because from the DEI perspective, I've been asked multiple times in regards to what are the demographics for each of our campuses,
Right.
not just for students, we're looking at that, but because it's inclusive information that we're looking for, it's what is the demographics of our staff and our faculty along with our students.
Right.
So that information has been something that's been asked of me many times. So I'm just wondering if that's something I would have to ask with anticipation and not be able to find on the dashboard?
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have a dashboard like that yet. That's a great idea, and we should maybe create one. But we do have the HR, since we did just submit the data to iPads, we do have the latest HR data that we can provide. And there are, assuming that the employee, gave their race and ethnicity information, that information's in there. So yes, we can give you breakdowns like that.
But right now, I would be able to find that for just students?
I'm not even sure so if you did that by program, that's the only dashboard that's up there right now. It would give you, racial ethnic breakdown for that. But we will, and the reports that you saw, the static reports, those do have racial ethnic breakdowns and other demographic breakdowns.
Okay.
Right, so I think, Bonnie, if you wanted to, example, know the race ethnicity breakdown of students at this campus or any other campuses for this current semester, that's on there in one of those PDF reports. So it's not live data, it's based on the census, and it will give you percentages overall for CT State as well as campus by campus. The HR one, as JD said, is trickier because it's a different
It's a whole different system.
it's a whole different world with faculty and staff data.
And we've only just started getting our hands on it. HR has been very helpful so that we can actually pull it directly instead of having to, take up their time to get it to us. But we do have that access now. We can pull that. Usually you pull for a snapshot. For instance, the iPad snapshot is for a pay period in November. That's for some reason what federal government wants. But we can pull that for you and get you a snapshot.
Yeah, this falls in the category of more information than you probably want to know, but a lot of that faculty, staff, employee data is stored in core, and our student data is stored in Banner, so it's the two systems, never the two shall meet, it sometimes feels like.
But sometimes you still need to match the core data to the Banner data to answer the question, which creates a whole other issue. But it's not something you need to worry about. The point is we will do our best to get it to you.
Wonderful, thank you.
And did you have another question, Bonnie?
I asked two, so I think I'm good for.
Oh, you got them both in there. Okay, they were together.
Great. Anyone else today? All right. Well, I want to thank you all for being here, and again, for having us here live at Asmantuck, and for everybody who tuned in. If you need anything at all data-wise from CT State, please contact us, and we will do our best to serve you.
And
Good afternoon.
Thank you, JD and Caitlin. Sohair. I did want to say I've heard that Charles Knurrick, I'm not sure if I'm saying your name correctly, but you have been made a panelist. I've heard you had some words to say along with Chief Shute when he can join us. I'm not sure if this is related to IR at all, so this might not be of interest.
I don't believe it is.
Folks
that's the next thing.
Yeah. So I'm going to stop recording because this sums up the IR webinar. So thank you everyone for joining us, and then I'll turn it over to Charles.
Thank you.
See.